Remember, Patsy Ramsey didn't say, I know John Ramsey had nothing to do with it. She said John Ramsey had nothing to do with it. That is certainty. That is reliable. I know Daniel did not have anything to do with it. It's not reliable. How do you know? In your heart, despite the facts that you are well aware of?
And Lily's disappearance. The reason I know that, I know in my heart that Daniel would not harm those children. The answer relies with Malaya. She hasn't spoken.
She knows, Malaya knows. But you also know Malaya isn't going to say anything. Daniel yaps too much, but Malaya won't.
Up. She hasn't come, and she hasn't said anything about all this. That's all I have to say. The rest of the answers to all your questions rely with Malaya. The only thing I can tell you about that is I had nothing to do with Jack and Lily's disappearance. I know Daniel did not have anything to do with Jack and Lily's disappearance. The reason I know that, I know.
God, this is annoying, man. I don't know if I can do this.
That's all I have to say. The rest of the answers to all your questions rely with Malaya. The only thing I can tell you about that is I had nothing to do with Jack and Lily's disappearance. I know Daniel did not have anything to do with Jack and...
See, I did not have anything to do with the disappearance. Yeah, you didn't take them away and you didn't hurt them directly. See the difference here? I did not.
I know in my heart that Daniel would not harm those children. The answer relies with Malaya. She hasn't spoke up, she hasn't come, and she hasn't said anything about all this. That's all I have to say. The rest of the answers to all your questions rely with Malaya. The only thing I can tell you about that is I had nothing to do with Jack and Lily's
I had nothing to do.
disappearance. I know Daniel did not have anything to do with Jack and Lily's disappearance. The reason I know that, I know in my heart that...
Let's move a little bit further.
You and you were not around, and I don't think that was right because you're there.
Wait.
The ones that are on the flyers right now, let me have a look, are actually the up-to-date photos of Jack and Lily.
Okay, we heard
because
this
Jack
before.
and Lily just get their spinner. So yes, this trailer RV was searched. And as I said about the cupboard, I have no cupboards in my trailer because I renovated it. And if they searched my trailer, if I did have a cupboard in here...
Renovated this trailer? We saw the trailer. We saw the picture. What is there to renovate? How and how do you apply the term renovate? I mean, that whole thing needs to be on a junkyard.
They would have searched it. So there is no drugs, there is no guns, there is no sex toys of any kind in any cupboard. So does that answer your question for the second time?
Somebody's laughing there.
Here, be nice in the chat, or I end this conversation right now. The lady that was asking me questions, I wish she continue answering me questions. If not, I am done. When she is done asking me questions, you guys can comment all you want. I have nothing to hide. I lost everything in my life. So after I'm done talking and telling my side of the story, the truth, if you want to comment and say whatever you want, believe me, I do not care. I'm telling you guys,
Oh, God.
as I said, I'm not answering questions about. I am still going to worry about my children.
See, when she's 85. Okay, I think I'm going to get there now.
No matter how old they are, and Mama feels for those kids. I don't care if my kid, if I'm 85 years old and my kid is
60 some, right. So if Daniel goes away for murder for 25 years, you'll be you're 60 now. You'll be 85 years old. And he'll still be there. He'll be ready to get out.
60 some years old, I am still going to worry about my children.
Yep.
And I am still going to cry for my children.
And the reason she's not tearing up, she's tearing up for her grandchildren, and she's tearing up for Daniel. And possibly Justin. Okay, let me see your comments. Well, the last one was a little bit. Now I'm going to do the Emmanuel Harrow case a little bit. I'm glad I got this one out.
So you just look at what I've seen and what you've seen on the tape of Malaya's interview. Does that look like a woman
Sidetracking.
that misses her children? Please answer me that. If there's no more questions.
See, everybody's looking only at them. No more Malaya, and that's bothering her.
I've pretty well answered everything.
Because Malaya brought the problems there, according to her. And now Malaya is gone. No concern about Malaya's children.
That I can answer on my part. As I said, I'm not answering questions about Malaya, about Daniel. It's all about Jack and Lily. I told you what I've known and what I've seen. I hope it helps you guys, ease your guys' minds. And I thank you guys for letting me talk to you and for not judging me from when I'm talking to you. And thank you to whoever was answering the questions. I appreciate you volunteering to do that and making it easy for me to answer questions. And I hope you keep praying for Jack and Lily.
Yeah.
And I hope they come home soon.
What do you mean?
And when I go on again, if there's some questions that you guys have not answered, and I see them,
Home to you?
I will answer your questions. So thank you for taking the time and listening to me babble and get it out there. And thank you for letting me cry on your shoulders.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And thank you, Ken. You'll know what it's about.
Ken?
I appreciate that. So
Okay.
I'm going to take off now. I may be on a little later. I may not. But thank you very much, guys. Oh, there's just one last thing I'd like to say.
I hope the new stuff will come now. The stuff I may have missed.
I don't know how many people are from Nova Scotia or Pictou County or whatever.
Not me.
I would just like to say this, and this is my opinion, but to Robert Parker and Tim Houston, you took the time to go over to the RCMP station and talk to them, but you didn't take the time to come here and see how we were doing. And you're all about the community and you're all about the people. Well, we were two people that needed you. And
Look how in need of attention she is, man. Look how she is, how self-important she is. You know, you're the mother of a suspect. officially or not officially. He ain't gonna come to you. And that's why you are bothered by this. Because it shows that these people reach out to the community, but not to you. So now you're feeling alienated, like you got leprosy or something.
And you were not around.
We were two people, you and Daniel.
And I don't think that was right, because you're there for everyone. Not.
And I bet you everyone is telling them these people had something to do with it. Don't go there. And the last thing he wants to do is go there to you. That would not be the right message for the community. Not until things are officially cleared up. So you're living in La La Land. You're living in a complete dream world. Complete dream world. Just out of your mind. Just whatever reality you think you're living in, while you've been isolated and not, communicating with normal people, only you and your raggedy son, and I'm sure you drive each other crazy, or you drive him crazy. I don't know, maybe you're laying low now, but yeah, the party's over, dude. You know what I mean? It's not gonna get any better for you.
Just.
And as I've stated on Facebook before, you know what? The old lies are being uncovered, and tolerance for new lies is 0.0. No more tolerance for new lies. So you're not going to have any more leadway. There isn't going to be another Durwood fabrication that anybody pays attention to. Even the people who normally don't get it, they're like, we've been fooled. And it's hard for those people who believe easily, to admit to themselves that they have been fooled. But they are doing it. They're realizing, you know what, man? Oh my God.
People that you're favored to. So if you hear this, or if you go into this chat, or whoever knows them, please let them know that I do not like what they have done.
I don't think you are part of the community anymore, Janie. I don't think the community wants you. Now, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people who have done a lot of wrong here and there. But if you are at the center you are right there, covering things up about the disappearance. There's a big difference between somebody maybe getting arrested for selling rugs, or even breaking in somewhere, or stealing, or what have you, or even if it's if it has to do with violence, some form of. But when it is like that against children, people tend to remember their own shitty childhoods, right? That's why in prison it's not going to be easy for Daniel, because people there, they remember how their stepfather abused them and so on. At least some people, or maybe a lot of people, will have these memories. That's why child abusers often get hurt by people who are also criminals, but they are different type of criminal.
I'm sorry, I just seen a comment there. I didn't see Malaya put the kids in the car. That's one thing I didn't see. And Cheryl is Malaya's best friend. She's the one that was on the beach with Malaya. I apologize. I thought the picture of Justin and Daniel on the bike was taken by a drone. But if Cheryl says it was taken by Malaya, she's probably right.
Probably. They're all there. They're all lurking. They don't want to speak, especially Malaya, but Malaya's listening. Malaya's watching. And they're asking Malaya, what about the picture? But the question is, why did Malaya take the picture of Daniel and Justin on the ATV? I mean, what was the point? What was her point?
Wasn't around when the picture was taken. Oh, I'm
Got it.
sorry. I thought it was her friend that asked about the picture. There's so many names. Like when I seen Cheryl and she said about the picture, I took it was Malaya's friend. I'm sorry. As I said, that's all I know. Oh, sorry. Yes.
That's all I know.
I didn't know who took the picture. There was so many drones around here. I thought it was the guy that took the picture of the property that took that picture. That's all I know. I didn't know if it was Malaya or who took the picture. I can't be sure. I thought it was a drone picture. I can't be sure. I thought it was a drone. Look, there was so many people here that day. I don't know half of the people. I don't know most of the people that were here.
Yeah.
I only know the people that were here from the community, and some of the friends that I know were here. I don't know. I don't know. Like I was away most of the day with Justin on the 4-wheeler. Him and I took off and we just went. So I couldn't tell you who was here, to be exact. If I ran into somebody I knew, I'd talk to them. If I didn't know, I said hi. So, like I said, Malaya called me on my phone, and I called her back, and she told me to get back here as soon as I could. I don't know what was discussed between her and everybody else. I just know when I got back here, I went up and she was crying, I put my arms around her, and then Haley and I think it was Shelby, I said, I'm not sure, started accusations. I wasn't listening because I was so upset because I thought that she was calling me back to tell me that the kids were deceased. I said dead in my statement to the cops, but I'm sorry, I mean deceased.
You were worried that they found out what Daniel did. You were worried that they saw something on camera. You were worried that Daniel has been caught. That's why you went there. That's why you were worried. And you were relieved when you realized that wasn't the case.
And then the next thing I know, all these cops, I think there was 5 cops showed up, and they took Malaya aside.
Next thing I know, skipping time. What happened?
Actually, Officer Mason took Malaya aside and talked to her. The other 2 people, I ordered them off the property, and an officer took me aside and got my statement. And after that, I left and went and talked to Daniel to see if he was okay. Because apparently, if you listen to Logan's TikTok or interviews on TikTok, she can explain more to you than what I know. So I know Daniel was upset, and I went to see him. That's when I left everything, and everybody took off. I didn't know where anybody was going or what was going on in the whole kerfuffle or whatever you call it. So I went and talked to my boy to see if he was okay. After that, everybody just left. So I don't know what went on. See, the way I thought is anything else that happened here that day was not important to me. I want to stress that wasn't important to me. The only thing that I was thinking about that day was finding Jack and Lily. And I spent all day, except for when I came here and had a little bite to eat because my daughter-in-law brought some food, and I had a sandwich, and then she took the rest of the food into the trailer.
Wait, so daughter-in-law would be Justin's wife?
And the ones that were in there, all her family.
So in the beginning it was said Justin lived there. Well, there's so much confusion here. But I believe that, what I already stated.
Ate all the food. Anything that anybody brought, they took it to the trailer and they ate.
Yeah, they ate all your food. Their biological little relatives are missing and you're worried about the food. What, you got nothing in your fridge? How about you make some food for these people? How about that? These children were last seen on your property, and they are the biological relatives. How about you think about what you can do for somebody for a change? Not what everybody can do for you. What, these guys, who are they? Politicians, local politicians, or community leaders? They're supposed to come to you and baby you and listen to you about your health problems and about how much Lily screamed and all of this bullshit? Instead, you're a hermit. So all of a sudden you want these people to come by and baby you? How about you do something for somebody? In such a situation, you're worried about the food. These two babies are missing. And that's your concern.
It all.
Okay, good. So they ate it all. They've been searching all day. They've been busy.
We didn't get anything. We had to defend for ourselves. As I said, it was like a family reunion. They were in there talking and laughing and going on. So, and the only time that I went into the trailer is that time when I see them all laughing and carrying on was to tell Malaya that Justin and I were going back out to look for the kids. And she said, "Do you want me to shut the chickens in?" That's the only time that I set foot in that trailer all day. Except for when everybody left and the police officers came and asked Daniel about the pink blanket. I was there when they went out to the garbage can and took the pink blanket out of the garbage.
Yeah, Daniel called them and said, "See what I just found. Or see what's in there."
Other than that, after that was over, nobody else was around. Everybody left. And I just sat in the trailer, and some of my friends came and asked me how I was doing, and they were very supportive of me. And God love one of the girls that was there, one of the friends that was there. I had a tick bite on me, and it was starting to get. This was on Saturday. I had a tick bite on me. God love her. She went to the pharmacist and got me pills because I wouldn't leave the property. I never left the property all the time those kids were missing. And after the search,
You left with Justin, right?
I still don't leave the property. I may go to town maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks. I stay here and tell reporters to get off my property because I don't want to talk to them. And I'm a homebody. I'm like a hermit. I don't go anywhere. And I was that way before this all started, before the disappearance of Jack and Lily started, and I'm still a hermit. Oh, there's one thing that I forgot to mention. On my interview, and I'll tell you now, on my interview about the sliding door,
yeah.
the lady that did the interview, her name is Allie, very nice lady. She was the one that opened the door. I asked her to do it for me so everybody wouldn't think that I was doing something to disrupt this investigation, or people saying, oh, she opened it up lightly, or she did this, or she did that. I got Allie to open the door twice.
We saw that. Too much emphasis on that.
So she was the one that opened up the door. Oh, and I also in my interview told them that if they want to come take up my driveway, or if they want to come lift my trailer, or lift the RV, or anything they wanted to do, they were more than welcome to come and do it. I have nothing to hide. The kids are not here on this property. But they did put her.
That's why, and that doesn't mean that what happened didn't happen. You know what I mean? What does that have to do with it? The kids, I know their bodies are not there. We agree on that. So she is looking at the little things she can prove. She can prove that right now the sliding door is not too loud. But did Daniel do any treatment to it? Did he use WD-40, which works wonders? That proves nothing. Searching the property. The kids are long gone and you know it. That's why you feel confident. Please come here. That's why you talked about your other property is not by the ocean, meaning the kids are not there. Oh boy.
Drove underneath underneath the trailer. They had an army guy come in with this great big drone that they use, and they put it underneath the trailer. And I offered to go underneath the trailer with a flashlight to show them that Jack and Lily weren't under there, and they said no, that they could get under there with the drone. Yeah. And I'm not here for you guys to feel sorry for me.
Yes,
I'm just here to tell the truth.
That's exactly what you are doing. That's what you have been doing the whole time. You remember she said, I'm not here to lie. Now I'm not here to asking you to feel sorry for me. Yeah, right. Exactly. That's exactly what you are doing. And that's exactly what you know you shouldn't be doing. And that's why you try to convince us that that is what you're not doing.
You guys have your own opinion of me. I have nothing to say about that.
It's beyond opinion. You're showing us who you are.
Just here to tell the truth. I want Lily and Jack found.
Just minimizing compared to what? What's the bigger picture here?
And that's all I want. Can I clear something up about the four-wheeler? Justin and I were the ones driving on the four-wheeler.
And this is sensitive.
But we picked Daniel up around the pipeline.
Yeah, why was he on the pipeline? Had the footprint already been located? Was he looking if there's anything else he may have dropped there? And why was there a footprint? There was a footprint, right? Did one of the bodies slip down? And anything is possible, people. But I believe that he was so focused on that pipeline, the kids wouldn't be in it, and it's pretty far from your house. I think he was looking around the pipeline, walking it up and down to see if there's anything he may have dropped. Anything while transporting the children down that path by the pipeline. Maybe another star, or maybe anything that could lead them, to find out more. I think that's exactly why he was there. He was like his own little cleanup crew after himself. Let's make sure I didn't drop anything. And you know what? That's maybe why the guy initially said to him, don't go out there to search, because they suspected him already. He admitted it later. They're looking for evidence. They don't want the suspect to walk around potential evidence. He was not supposed to be there, except one guy let him go. So there were two reasons, I think, that Daniel, went out there so-called searching. Yeah, he was searching. He was searching for anything that he may have dropped, any piece of evidence to remove it. That's why he was so worried about evidence. And the other is he wanted to be away from Belinda and everybody and Malea's grandmother and all these people. He didn't want to answer questions. He wanted to be out of sight, far away from there. That's why it bothered him so much that he was told, don't go out there. And he probably cried and had a whole spiel about, oh no, but I love these kids and I want them to, I want to help, and finally he wore them down and they said, yeah, go out there, which they shouldn't have, I think, because who knows what he may have picked up. Maybe he did find something that was dropped during the transport. And, maybe he did hinder the investigation that way. So, interesting how the pipeline keeps popping up.
Justin and I went up around the pipeline and we were going through an old road and we seen Daniel. And Daniel got on the bike and he sat on front of the bike until we got back to the pipeline and we dropped him off with some of his friends. And then Justin and I took off back home.
Interesting. Who were the friends? Was one named Jordan?
Can I clear something up about the four-wheeler? Justin and I were the ones driving on the four-wheeler, but we picked Daniel up around the pipeline. Justin and I went up around the pipeline and we were going through an old road and we seen Daniel. And Daniel got on the bike and he sat on front of the bike.
How did you know where he was? Because he told you, I'm going to check around the pipeline to make sure nothing else will be found.
Until we get back to the pipeline and we dropped him off.
Wait, what was that? Get back from where? That's interesting, right?
Daniel got on the bike and he sat on front of the bike until we get back to the pipeline.
He sat on front of so he drove around and you get back to
and
the
we
pipeline.
dropped him off.
Because he said, no, I gotta stay there. That's where they found a footprint, right? Who knows? This is where I drove. He wanted to walk along the area where he took the ATV with Jack and Lily on it. And he was searching. Yes, he was. He wasn't searching for Jack and Lily, but he was searching for any evidence he may have left behind. And he was actually busy with that. And whenever he returned, that's when he did his fake crying and his, he told us how much he did all the dirt roads and the culverts and waist deep in water, and a lot of experiential memories snuck in there. A lot of leakage was there because he went into areas that he actually remembered having done, but not during the so-called search. Dropped him off there again.
With some of his friends, and then Justin and I took off.
So I wonder how many of his friends, how many people know what. That'd be interesting also to know.
Back home. So Daniel was on the bike, sitting on the front of the bike. So there was me, Justin, and Daniel on the bike. He was sitting on the front of it. But Justin and I had the bike out all day. I'm fine. I just went through your comments to see if there's any questions, Jack.
See, it's so important for her to stress that Daniel was never driving the bike, because he was driving it that night.
I had to ask, and I just wanted to clear that up. I just want to say Daniel has done so many interviews, and to tell you the truth, if I was in his place, I'd be so confused because people have been asking me so many questions, and it's just, I don't know how anybody that has been interviewed keep everything straight. I think a little things get twisted.
Here we go. His inconsistencies. Yep, she's reading, she's doing damage control, but she's making things worse. You are not helping.
And everything, but you got to understand, we're all under a lot of pressure here.
Exactly. That's what he always says. I'm under stress and this and no. You don't tell inconsistencies about something so important. You tell us what you know, you tell the truth, and it will line up. Unless there's something you don't want us to know.
All this was put on us, or especially on Daniel, because Malaya's.
All this was put on us. All what?
We did not use the ATV all the time of the search. It was me and Justin. And as I said, we picked Daniel up on a note. I don't know how anybody that has been interviewed keep everything straight. I think a little things get twisted and everything, but you got to understand, we're all under a lot of pressure.
Little things, right? This message language also falls under the category of avoidance. Little things, inconsistencies. When talking about the disappearance of 2 missing children, the timeline. Inconsistencies, little things, she calls it. Daniel refers to crazy accusations. Being dismissive, trying to gaslight people is an attempt to avoid sensitive area. Highly sensitive. But you got to understand. Nope, I don't.
Here, all this was put on us.
You're under pressure only because you're not telling the truth. You're under pressure to keep the story straight. And you're worried that some evidence was left behind. And remember what he said in the beginning. He said there is hardly any evidence. Hardly. Remember? I put Christopher Proudfoot and Daniel Martel side by side. And Christopher Proudfoot talked about no evidence whatsoever, but Daniel could only say hardly any evidence. So there was something, such as the star, the footprint, the boot print was left, the blanket. There we go. And he tried to lie about that and dismiss that as well, because he's worried about evidence. But he's told us, I said it from the beginning, there was evidence. So what we are looking at right here, these areas are actually evidence of what took place that particular night.
Or especially on Daniel, because Malaya's not opening her mouth.
And that's good on her, dude. I think, looking at the father's police record and everything, she probably was brought up. Don't ever talk to police. See, in some families they do that. Say no matter what. Don't say anything to the police. Ever. If you have a problem, we handle it ourselves. Why you think Henry Brooks, Malaya's father, said, I'm a tracker baby? What he's saying is, in my world, we don't call the cops. In my world, we take care of things ourselves. If you have a problem, you should have called me when that first happened. Wasn't that the language that he used when it first happened? Interesting language, right? Let me take care of it. We have our own way. And we don't need police for any of that. I believe Malaya was raised to keep her mouth shut. And it's second nature to her. She just shuts down, maybe sits playing on her phone. Daniel is the complete opposite. And just look at his mommy and his daddy when Tint came by. And the daddy just like talkative as hell, making himself look suspicious. Janie, talkative as can be, no filter, just stupid, just just letting it all. See, that's why Daniel doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut. Because can you imagine all them being together? How loud it must be. I don't know if they had Thanksgiving dinners together or whatever, but I can imagine, man. I'm a tracker, baby. Yeah. See, some of you pointed out that sounded strange when he said it. Seemed strange. Well, you want to look at it? I forgot that Fog Woman told Malea's friend or Haley to tell Malea to hide, to change her settings so people who are not on her friends list cannot see it, which I can't. And I don't think she'll accept me as a friend.
And Daniel's taking all the backlash for this. So if it was Malaya
These people still don't understand. Logan doesn't either, how much she gave away.
Malaya opened her mouth, just how much backlash she would get.
No. She would not be talkative like that. And again, her father has a record. And he's a tracker, baby. And so she knows the best way to control your language, don't speak.
So you got to cut Daniel a little slack.
And she always says so. And when you say so, you are expecting the listener to accept that what you had previously said made so much sense that you're going to now want to hear her conclusion, and that the conclusion is well thought out and the truth. So, I got paid yesterday. So, why would I steal? Something like that. You know what I mean?
Here, guys. He did not use the ATV all.
Cut Daniel a little slack here, guys. Remember what I showed you yesterday about Darren Derwood O'Grady talking about cut Daniel some slack? He's good people.
All the time of the search.
Uh-oh. That's the one I wanted, baby. There we go.
Because Malaya's not opening her mouth.
That's not why. That's not why he is being... It's because of what he says. Because he doesn't realize how much leakage is there in his language.
And Daniel's taking all the backlash for this. So...
For what? Okay,
if talking. It was Malaya if Malaya opened her mouth, just how much backlash she would get.
She wouldn't. She's sticking to the script, and that's it. And then she's done. One interview, she's done. Until you offer money, until she smells some money, like a fundraiser. Oh, yeah. But you see, she won't even give an interview for money. Because she knows. Because that's how Daddy raised her, I believe. You say, you think you're smart? Never think you're smart. When you talk, when you open your mouth, something gets leaked, and you're always going to be in trouble. Doesn't mean he has to understand statement analysis, but he knows from experience. Hey, what happened to Roger? Oh, he's doing time. 3 years. What? How'd they find out? There was no evidence. So I don't know. They took him down to the station, and he said a bunch of stuff, and next thing we knew, he was convicted. You know, people who are in this world, they have, I guess, their own form of wisdom, right? They may not talk about important events, or they may not talk about mathematics or whatever. I mean, real mathematics. The other mathematics, yeah, they do talk about some of them, of course. But they tell each other how to avoid getting in trouble with police. They tell each other, listen, man, you may not understand what mistake you made or what you leaked, but you're not going to say anything. That's why you see some people that are really not that clever and say, oh, I know nothing. I didn't do anything. I just keep it short and be very blatantly lying, of course. But it's still uh, better for them than if they talked. And as I said before, I have seen recently a video from a woman, I think it was a Russian woman in America, and she was completely drunk, and her car was right there, but she was not in her car, and she managed to uh, avoid getting a DUI. And the cops kept asking her, "Well, how did the car get here? So, how long has the car been here?" So, and she wouldn't answer. And that was interesting for me, because whenever I watch these shows, I realize how much people are saying actually that gets them arrested. How much they're admitting to that they don't even have to. See, that's why a lawyer can make such a big difference. I mean, you can too if you know how to shut the hell up and not get emotional and say, well, yes, no. He says, no, I didn't. I did. She was so, maybe later I will show you guys some of it. It's really, really funny, actually. Really funny. And I love to know how the system works. You know what I mean? I love to see how people, both, how they get themselves caught and how some manage to actually avoid it. It's interesting. It teaches me a lot.
So you got to cut Daniel a little slack here.
No, but that indicates to me that you and Darren have talked quite a bit. Cut slack.
Guys, he did not use the ATV all the time of the search.
Listen to this. He did not use the ATV all. Then she says, all the time of the search. He was going to say, I believe, he didn't use the ATV all the time, meaning he used it sometimes, but you don't want us to know about that because he used it Thursday night. He was the one transporting the children away towards the north, towards the coast. I don't know, somewhere around Chance Harbor, but probably more secluded place. I've talked about maybe the peninsula. I talked about a few places that I thought could be easily to access. There's also the Three Brooks, and there's another place, right? That what's the name of the island there? You told me about it, which would take a little more time to get there. There are a lot of possibilities there, and I cannot tell you where. So police, if they're looking at Chance Harbor, well, of course it's possible as well, but I'm just thinking, it's more densely populated, and he could have been seen. So I would think that, he would avoid major roads and just go somewhere off the beaten path and wind up somewhere where nobody's around.
It was me and Justin. And as I said, we picked Daniel up on an old road. We went up the pipeline, Justin and I did, and we picked Daniel up on an old road.
On an old road, on the pipeline, I believe she was going to say. When they correct themselves and the sentence doesn't make sense, and we picked Daniel up on an old road, Incorrect sentencing, right? Incorrect structure. You go back to right before it stops making sense. And we pick Daniel up on the, and starting with on, it makes no more sense. On the on, no. In these cases, remember what I said about the Chris Proudfoot statement? You cut it off and you just have it there. And we pick Daniel up on the. And then you think about what she may have said. And then you think about why this is sensitive to her. Why she wants to avoid continuing the sentence the way she started it. What is the reason? I believe she was going to say on the pipeline, because I believe the pipeline was exactly where he was searching for something he may have dropped that night.
So Daniel did not use the bike. The only time he was on the bike.
Again, so Daniel didn't, listen to what I just said, right? Remember what I just said?
We picked Daniel up on an old road. We went up the pipeline, Justin and I did, and we picked Daniel up on an old road. So Daniel didn't.
She says so. So she is expecting for you to believe what she just stated. And now she's expecting for you to conclude something. She is telling you why she said all of these things, because now comes the point that she wants to make that's very important to her. And this type of language is also sensitive. It can be.
Not use the bike. The only time he was on the bike is when we picked him up.
The only time he's on the bike is when he when makes no sense. So you stop with the when. The only time he's on the bike is when what? What's coming to your mind? What were you about to leak? When he really has to use it, when there's an emergency, like getting rid of two bodies, and he knows how to do it best, and he knows the back roads, and he knows where to go, and Justin is more adjusted, so he's more like a city boy now, or I don't know where he lives, but he's maybe not going out fishing as, I don't know. But this is, again, the fact that she needs to stop herself and say something differently shows us this is a highly sensitive area. The only time he uses the bike is when he has to deal with something that is very important to him, that he believes he's the only one who can fix that problem, such as having to get rid of evidence, which includes two little bodies wrapped up in his shirts. So guys, I think this is it for now, and I will be back soon.